Hey, mystery lovers. Welcome back to Melanin Mysteries, where we tackle true crime with a side of laughs. Because let's face it, sometimes you need a little humor to get through the dark stuff. I'm your host, Tiffany,
And I am your co-host, Willie.
and today we are diving into a case that's equal parts baffling and tragic. We're talking about Solomon Stinson, a man whose life came to a mysterious and untimely end, leaving his wife, Noni, and the rest of us wondering what in the world happened. Was it foul play, bad luck, or just the universe throwing a seriously messed up curveball? So grab your snacks, get comfy, and let's sift through the clues, suspects, and a few twists that'll have you saying, wait, what? This one is going to be a roller coaster ride, so hold on tight. So, in the early morning hours, around 1 a.m. on August 21st, 2006, multiple gunshots are heard in a quiet and peaceful cul de sac in a prominent neighborhood in Jacksonville, Florida. So, several neighbors called into 911 to report the shots. 911 operators are asking if anyone has a visual as to what has happened, but unfortunately, nobody knows. So one of the calls that comes in is from Noni Stinson, who was awoken from her sleep due to the gunshots, but she didn't realize it was her husband that had been shot until her 8-year-old daughter said, "Mommy, daddy's been shot." Of course, she's frantic. She's shaking.
Room 912. Yes, sir. I need an officer to come in. I woke up to like two loud bangs. You know, oh, God, I'm scared. Just calm down, okay? I'm trying, sir. Room 912. Yes, sir. I need an officer to come in. I woke up to like two loud bangs. You know, oh, God, I'm scared. Just calm down, okay? I'm trying, sir.
She didn't even know her husband was home. He had left earlier in the day to hang with some friends, and she went to sleep before he got home. When the paramedics respond to the scene, they find 29-year-old Solomon lying in the street in a pool of blood, but he's still conscious. So there's a trail of blood from the driveway and is leaking out into the street where he was. He was shot twice, once in the neck and once in the back. And he was able to tell the paramedics his name before he was rushed to the hospital.
Man, forget getting his name. Find out the name of the nigga that killed her. Shot him. Wouldn't that make sense?
I mean, well, they need to know who they're talking to first so they can at least identify him to
Man, ain't
figure
no
out.
Solomon. I'm like, who did it? That's the first. Who did it, dog? That's the first question I'm asking. But of course, I'm not police. So Solomon Leviticus Stinson.
Leviticus, get that right. We ain't gonna start today
Solomon
with you messing with all these
Leviticus
names
Stinson.
now.
Nah, that's a hell of a name, man. Right there. That first of all, that's an old school name. Ain't
Biblical
no
name.
biblical old school black name. I ain't never heard of a white man named Solomon. And I guarantee you ain't no kids running around that was born after 2000 named Solomon.
Actually, there
Le-
is, but go
it
off.
is? You know what?
Yeah, we'll get to it later in the story.
Okay, Solomon Leviticus Stinson was born October 1976. His mother was Catherine Stinson. He had two brothers, Wynell and Adam, and a sister, Amanda. Okay, like those basic names. Where's she going with Solomon with him? Well,
Mhm.
white nail, I guess, but whatever. He grew up on the south side of Jacksonville, Florida. His family grew up poor, but in a family filled with love. He owned several businesses, including the landscaping business, although he never graduated high school. His sister described him as playful, fun to be around. His oldest child that he fathered with his high school sweetheart, they eventually separated but continued to co-parent. In 2002, he had a son with another woman. So back to the scene. So paramedics rushed Solomon to the hospital and hopes to save his life. In the meantime, the police are, they're doing a little investigation. They surveying the scene and talking to neighbors to find out what may have happened. As we said before, there's a trail of blood from the driveway to the street. So it makes it look like he got shot in the driveway and ran out in the street. And there are fragments from a 38 caliber gun, but there was no shell casings at the scene. One of two things: either a revolver was used or someone came and collected the shell casings before leaving the scene. On a side note, I just found out they actually sell this device. I forgot the name of it. That if you have an automatic, it actually collects the shell casings for you.
Oh, well,
And I
that's
just,
that's gonna make police
yes,
job harder.
Exactly. So they don't have any eyewitnesses or any statement from the neighbors.
So police, of course, take a distraught Noni down to the station, just to get a statement from her and to see, of course, if she can assist them with figuring out who shot her husband. So while they're at the station, the police get a call from the hospital letting them know that Solomon has unfortunately passed away. So this is officially a homicide investigation.
Rest in heaven, Solomon, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Stinson. So police tell Noni that Solomon had passed, and of course she broke down, but she was able to still speak with police. They, of course, asked Noni if her husband had any enemies or if anyone wanted him dead. They also wanted to know about the status of their marriage and such. So at this time, Noni does inform them that their marriage isn't the best. There you go. Remember, I always said that you gotta be real. Every marriage, you can't say your marriage is perfect. You just look suspicious. That's just me. She lets them know that there has been a history of domestic violence and that Solomon had been arrested and charged in the past for domestic violence. She also tells police that Solomon is a known drug dealer and this has also caused issues in their marriage.
She
Not to
snitched on his
mention,
ass.
exactly, he's
Dry
a
snitch.
convicted felon. Yeah, she telling all that nigga business. He done whoop my ass. He sell dope. He pop pills. He stand beat and always got first class seats. She also said that she believes Solomon was cheating on her. Yep, there you go. Yep. And recently, I'm sorry, she recently found condoms in the car. First of all, that's sloppy. I mean, that's just sloppy as hell. Like either you
Niggas
sloppy or
is
you just don't
sloppy.
care.
Y'all niggas is sloppy. Like y'all
I
don't
know.
cheat
No, I
right.
thought yes, I was a horrible. Yeah, I told you I quit. It wasn't even worth me cheating. I'm a horrible cheater. It just never work out right. I'm just yeah. So I get it. So it is possible that Solomon was targeted from a drug deal going wrong because of course he's a drug dealer. Maybe he was even robbed. The robbery theory quickly went out the window when they noticed that Solomon still had on all his jewelry and money in his pocket. So they got to figure something else out. So the next angle, they check and find out that it was a drug deal related. The next angle, check out and find out if it was a drug related incident. Of course, the police had informants, so they reach out to find out if there's any information floating around about any possible beefs in the street. I would hate to be like an informant for the police. I will, because have you ever seen those movies where they'll be just at work and they just pop up
Your
on
grids
them out
roll
of
up on
nowhere?
them. Yep.
Yeah, like, hey, yeah, we need to talk to you. Like, man, I told you, man, I'm working right now. Yeah, so I would hate
Look
to be
suspicious as
such.
hell.
Exactly, right? So in the meantime, they are still exploring other options. The police asked if they could do a search of Noni and Solomon's home. Noni, of course, agrees. At the home, when the police are searching, they find 2 kilos of that cocaine. 2 kilos of cocaine under a mattress in the home, as well as a 38 handgun and a box of baby wipes. So this nigga was pushing weight. He wasn't doing a Nino Brown nickel and diamond because I don't know nobody really realized this. Nino Brown was not selling weight. This nigga was selling rocks. Like literally, he was selling rocks. This dude was pushing 2 kilos. So that dude was moving weight, bro. Like for real.
What is considered moving weight? Like, I mean, is 2 kilos a lot? Like, I mean,
That's weight. Yeah, anything if you got 2 kilos on you, you're moving weight. Now, granted, I'm not a drug dealer, you know what I'm saying, but I seen movies, and I listened to a couple rap songs, so I can only assume that that's the
okay, well,
case.
I'm gonna talk about my history with drug related, incidents and moving
Well,
drugs.
you talking about when you talking
No,
about
I
when you
got a
worked at
degree. I'm
CVS
gonna tell you where my
pharmacy?
degree came
Oh,
from. No, my
oh,
degree came from all the hood books I've been reading. I've been reading hood books since I was 15, so I have a lot of experience and knowledge, right? So I thought you had to have like a warehouse full of keys for it to be considered you moving weight. Like that's when you the plug,
I
right?
mean, when it comes down to a situation where you got 2 kilos, you moving weight. No, you don't have to have a warehouse. That's Jesus. That's Hollywood stuff. I don't even think. I mean, it's a possibility they can. Again, that's not my lane. But no, like you don't have to have that much to be moving weight. If he got 2 kilos, he moving.
Oh, well, in the hood books, they always be having multiple bricks. So I mean, I don't know. But anyway, so we're gonna backtrack a little bit and we're gonna talk about some history. So we're
All
gonna
right, let's go.
talk about Noni.
No
Noni
need.
Jamil Stinson was born November 3rd of 1977 to her mother, Joan Darby. Her father, he was MIA. So Noni, she also had it rough growing up. We do know she had at least two brothers. And we know from the age of 7 to 9, she was sexually abused by an older brother. And this
So I
same
heard,
brother,
I'm sorry.
mhm,
Yeah, I heard that is very common too. Like they say, like, and again, I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, it's like 1 in 3 women have been sexually abused or molested. That's crazy, and it's by majority is already by a family member. Did you
well,
hear that?
I mean, I've never experienced it, thankfully. However, it is very common.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it is very common, and this week on TikTok, it is a story going around about a 14-year-old. She's pregnant for the second time, and her father is going off on her. He's
Yes, I
determined
saw
about
that.
putting her out, yeah,
I
because she's
saw that.
pregnant for the second time. But the thing is, she tells him the only reason that I even know about sex is because of Uncle Tony, which is apparently the father's brother, and the father completely dismisses all of this. So yeah, it does seem to be that it has to do with a family member, because what would a 14-year-old know about sex? And
No,
they
you're
did
right. Yeah,
make a comment that most times when children that young are pregnant, it is due to
to that.
a grown
Yeah,
man.
yeah. That is true,
Yeah,
man.
so well, that's absolutely horrible. So that same brother also hung himself when he was 11 and she was 9. So that was when the sexual
Damn.
abuse finally stopped. Right. He must have really been going through some things. So her mother, she said, became distant after her brother's death and also became abusive. It's not stated if it was physical abuse or not, but she did struggle with self-esteem during her teen years. She was kicked out of high school, and she ended up going to a community college to get her diploma. So Noni graduated high school at the age of 16, and she entered the Air Force at 17. She actually ended up receiving a less than honorable discharge, and I had to go do some research to figure out what that was. And that includes security violations, arrest and conviction by civilian authorities, assault, abuse of authority, and drug violations. Having a less than honorable discharge also means that the service member will not qualify for any veteran benefits or eligible or are eligible to re-enlist. So I wonder what the hell she did. So she did have a stepfather, and he was able to assist her with getting enrolled in Bethune-Cookman College, where she stayed on the dean list straight A's. But again, she ran into some legal issues and had to leave. So then she enrolled in the University of North Florida. She had her daughter, Nyla Butler, in 1998, June. And baby dad was a deadbeat. But, she
Deadbeat.
kept it pushing. She was raising her daughter, and she was also raising her younger brother. And she was working and going to school full time.
Okay. So let's talk about how they met. So Noni and Solomon, they met in March of 2001. They met at a car wash that his friend owned. When she would bring her car in for a wash, he would wash it for free, and then he'd leave his car. Trying to get on. So he was leaving his car in a little cup holder. And according to Noni, she didn't even like him at first when they first met. So she really wasn't on it. She felt he was arrogant and ghetto. But he is persistent. So one Saturday, she probably was hungry, because that's what usually happens with y'all women. Y'all be hungry. That's when y'all call that one dude. And she finally
Because you
called him.
come
And
over to free food, I ain't
yeah,
gonna hold you. That's the way to get me. Oh, you said there's
yeah,
food involved? That's when we get
exactly.
kidnapped.
I told you are. Watch this. They're gonna have a little box for the stick. It's gonna be a plate. You're gonna grab it. They're gonna trap you. So she finally called him, and Solomon offered to take her out to eat. What I tell you, she said that they had a really nice time, and they talked for hours. And at the end of the evening, he gave her $300 and offered her more if she needed it. So to a single mother with 2 kids and working and going to school for a time, that was a blessing. So as the relationship progressed, she was able to actually stop working so she could focus on school and the kids full time, and he paid all the bills. The two married on March 25th, 2003, and they welcomed a son together, Solomon Jr., and Solomon also took on the role of a father for her daughter, Nyla. So Noni registered a business called the Organizers Incorporation, and that was in June 2006. And that was just days before his death. They end up having another business that they registered called S&N Beauty Supplies on August 14th, 2006. So let's get back to the case right quick. So Noni begins to make funeral arrangements for Solomon while the police are still working the case. They have gotten very few leads. One was from an informant who told them that Solomon owed his connect one-eyed Tony. One-eyed Tony. Like that's
Don't I? I
one eye.
don't know. I mean, I guess maybe the nigga had one eye.
I would hope so. I mean, no offense, because I mean that's I would hope so. So that so this seems plausible. He sold drugs and drugs were found in a home and he was killed. So, you know what I'm saying? That comes with the territory. So police checked Solomon's phone record and that's a dead end. So the police are at a standstill until ta-da-da, they get a new lead. Solomon's sister Amanda makes her way down to the police station. She just felt like, man, something might right with sister-in-law. So I need y'all to check her out. So she tell the police they need to really take a good look at Noni. She said that Noni was planning to leave town soon, and they needed to catch her before she left. She was suspicious of Noni's behavior. She said Noni was emotionless, that she didn't want any company. But I mean, I ain't trying to be funny. If you lose your husband, I mean, you know, some people, you know,
You
people
can't tell
grieve
people how to
differently.
grieve. Yeah, you
Exactly.
can't tell
Yeah.
people
So
how
I
to
mean, I don't
grieve.
see that. And she was distance. She kind of distanced herself from the family after Solomon's death. Again, you know, sometimes people only deal with you because of the significant other. You know.
But again, you don't know how people grieve. Like some people, it doesn't affect them. Some people just don't want to be bothered. Like you don't
Yeah.
know what type of headspace
Yeah.
she's in.
Yeah. Some people need people around them. Some people don't. So she then told them that Noni wanted to schedule the funeral as soon as possible. So he was killed on a Monday. She was actually trying to have him buried by Wednesday. Now that's fast as hell.
It
Like
really
black
is.
folks, yeah, black folks usually it'd be like 2 damn
7 to
weeks. You know what I'm
10
saying? We didn't,
business days.
yeah, we didn't damn forget about the person. Like, oh shit, that's right. That damn Jonathan Ed died, didn't he? Shit, I forgot.
Like we gotta
Um,
get these plane tickets together. Like they be like, they gotta put up a GoFundMe. I be like, don't nobody
exactly.
got
They
life
got,
insurance.
yeah, they got to sell fish dinners, all type of stuff,
It's
man.
it's
With that
7 to
being
10
said,
business days in the black community
yeah, get life insurance, folks, if you're listening. Don't, yeah, we shouldn't have to be selling fish dinners to pay for your goddamn
and doing
funeral.
GoFundMe's.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't take it. I don't contribute to GoFundMe's. I'm sorry. I really don't. Um, so the family didn't even have time to allow people to come in town for the funeral because, I mean, with her being a wife, she, you know, she get to control all that. So she buried them on Wednesday. 2 days. I mean, that is kind of quick. I mean, geez. So the police are very skeptical, right? Noni really didn't fit the typical description. She seemed very open and honest during her interview. And remember, she even allowed them to search her home. Remember, she didn't even put up any type of resistance. She's like, go ahead, you can search it. But they still need to follow up on every possible lead, right? So remember that 38 that they found in the baby wipes in the container? They end up shipping that out to be tested. And they also brought Noni back in for another interview.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever touched that gun?
Yes, sir.
Fingerprints aren't going to be on that gun.
Yes, sir.
Anger, mad at him, banging somebody else coming in late at night.
You shoot him with any gun.
Yes, sir.
So the gun comes back. Guess what? Her fingerprints are on that gun.
Got him.
And it was the same gun that was used to kill Solomon. So immediately she like, I need an attorney. So at that point, the interrogation, I can't get my words together, ends.
This time you're under arrest for fatally shooting Solomon Stinson.
So why would you leave a gun in the house? Say, you know, because we're not finished with the story. It's a possibility. Maybe she didn't. But if she did, why would you leave it in the house? And then allow the police to go in. I mean, granted, woods and baby wipes. So in the box of
I
baby
mean,
wipes,
that's a good hide space. If you
that's a
ask
good
me,
ass
that's the
hiding
last
space.
place I would think to look.
Yeah, that was a good ass hiding space. Yeah, she put that billboard in the back as a baby wipes. So now that I think, yeah, since I mentioned that, I guess she was trying to hide it. And maybe she didn't know about the cocaine. I don't know. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So they immediately arrest her, and she's charged with murder in Duval County, Florida. That's not a good place to go to jail. They say Florida is horrible to go to jail. So in September 2007, Noni goes to trial for the murder of her husband, Solomon Leviticus Stinson. And
Mm.
her defense team argues that Noni was a battered woman. So unfortunately, she never told anyone in her family about the abuse, but she does have the documentation to back up her story. Solomon had been arrested twice for domestic violence. So the defense also presented the stand your ground law. They said that evening the two were arguing about the cocaine that she found. So apparently she did know about it. And Solomon pulled a gun on her and he began punching her in her stomach. So somehow she was able to get the gun away from him, and she shot the gun 3 times, which 2 of the shots hit him, and that's when he stumbled outside and that's what caused a trail of blood and caused him to pass out in the street. She said she was scared to tell the truth and that she was accustomed to lying. Due to the abuse, it was almost like second nature. They say, what happened? Why do you have a black eye? Oh, I ran into a door. So, it that makes sense. It kind of becomes second nature. So the defense also brought up that while Noni had been incarcerated or waiting trial, she learned sign language and she also volunteered to translate for other inmates. So, they're showing that she's still a good woman. Like she just did what she had to do. So the defense clapped back with that there was no evidence of any bruises or cuts at the scene to suggest any domestic scuffles had taken place. Then they claimed that Noni was an angry wife due to her husband's cheating, his lying, and the lifestyle that she didn't agree with, which was the drugs. And also, one of the bullets hit Solomon in the back, which indicated that he was walking or running away at the time of being shot. So that killed that stand your ground law. So in addition, Noni did lie to the police about what happened initially, and she hid the murder weapon. So Noni did not take the stand in her own defense on this trial. So the jury comes back with a guilty charge, but they don't charge her with murder. They charge her with a lesser charge of second-degree murder. So before sentencing, Noni addressed the courts and his family, and she said, quote, "I am so sorry. I think about it every night. I felt like I was acting in the best interest of myself and my children. If I cried as much as I hurt, I cry all the time," end quote.
So I mean, the crazy part about that is because let's be honest, it is a lot of women that's living in circumstances like that where they are being abused and they don't say
Mhm.
anything, and then they finally lash out, But I mean, so it did definitely a messed up situation. But let's be, I mean, you just killing them like that, then covering up. It would probably been better if you would have just shot them, and then when the police came, you told them what happened,
But I
But
mean,
you,
if you're in the moment, I don't think you're thinking clearly. Like, you panic.
I mean, I get it. I mean, shit, I ain't
So,
shot nobody, so I don't know. I
me
mean,
neither.
I'm not in that situation, no. So it's easier. It's easier when you on the sidelines talking about it, I mean, but when
Mhm.
you're actually in the heat of the moment, I mean, shit, we both don't know. We both corny. We don't do shit. So on the day of sentencing, exactly on the day of sentencing, families from Noni's side and Solomon's side were in attendance. Solomon's son gave a statement and said, and now quote unquote, so this I'm read this is what a letter that he wrote. So if it's any grammatical errors, it's not me. I don't want you thinking that I'm a little reread. No, this is how the letter was wrote. And dealing with my father's death has been difficult, and prior to him being killed, I had the opportunity to see him whenever I wanted to and spend time with him. This makes me feel sad not to see him go to my basketball games, or for him not to pick me up from school, or to spend time with him any other days. I really feel sad to lose him because I never get to see him again. I miss him dearly. Me and him have the same birthday. We didn't spend time together on our birthdays. I cannot explain how the pain that goes through me since his death. He was a good man and always loved his family. He will always be a piece of me. Our birthdays are the same. I will miss my dad always. Quote unquote. He was bothered that they didn't spend no time on their birthdays. I don't know why, but
That's
that kind of
just
stuck out to
odd.
me.
Because
Yeah.
it's weird. Like, we had the same birthday and you don't even come around on
Didn't
my
spend time. Yeah,
birthday.
we didn't spend time on our birthdays. Yeah, that's crazy to me. But I mean, he
So,
was a drug
Judge,
dealer.
what's that got to do with him taking care of his kids to be a drug dealer?
I don't know, man. I just was trying to get a little nigga benefit of the doubt. I don't know. I
That was
don't know.
what anyway. So Judge McCullum, who presided over the case, said during sentencing, quote, "I do not agree with Miss Stinson. I do agree that Miss Stinson is not by appearance an evil person, but the act she committed that night was evil," end quote. Before she sentenced her to 35 years in prison for second degree murder. So Solomon's family was not overjoyed with the sentence. They would prefer life in prison because although she is behind bars, her family and friends can still come and visit her and her children, but they'll never get another moment with Solomon. So, but the family, here's another twist, was in for even more distress. Noni and her attorneys filed an appeal in March 2009, and she was granted a new trial.
I mean, that'd be horrible. You got to go through all of that again. Like, I mean, I don't know if I would. To be honest with you, I don't know if I would even want to even go to court for that. After that, once It was granted. I don't even think I would want to even relive that again. You know, especially the testimony. And usually they show pictures and, you know, depending on what they have in evidence. I ain't trying to relive that shit, man. I'm like, man, look, I'm go ahead, man. Just do what y'all do, man. And I'm just hey, text me when she get resentenced. So I'll tell you, text me, judge. So no need the defense team noted there was an error in denying a motion for judgment of an acquittal because there was a self-defense and the state did not take this into an account. So the judge was not given an
Jury.
option to include, I'm sorry, the jury, I apologize. The jury was not given an option to include manslaughter because, of course, that would be a lesser charge. So a new trial was underway. The evidence on both ends remained the same. So it's the same evidence. Nothing really new got put in. However, when the jury came back this time, they came back with a, guess what? You ready for this?
Mhm.
Guilty. They were
Damn.
still guilty. But not for second degree murder, but for a lesser charge of manslaughter. So remember, she originally got sentenced to what, 35 years?
Yeah, for second degree murder.
All right. So after she got the lesser charge, guess how many years she got now? You are not gonna believe this. She was resentenced to 30 years. So you get all that just to get
Man,
5
5
years.
years is a long ass time, okay?
I'm saying like that she made it like it really made it seem as if she was gonna go in, they're gonna like, all right, yeah, we're gonna give you 10 or 15. Nigga, you got 5 years taken off.
But shit, again, 5 years is a long ass time. Think about when you paying a car note. That 5 years is forever.
Man,
So
all I'm
imagine you
saying,
stuck in a place that you can't walk out of for 5 years. That is a long time. Think about how much your kids have grown in 5 years. Think about how much
I agree.
time you
But
would have missed out.
that's the reason I would told the judge to text me. I would have been pissed off and I wouldn't went right to the court. Like, nigga, for real? All that for that? Yeah,
Like
text me,
that one
judge.
dude who, remember, he jumped over
And
the
attacked
judge.
that lady. I would have done all that for that, man. I had to go through all this again. So she was sent to Low Work Camp, a medium security prison in Ocala, Florida. Her scheduled release date is June 16th, 2032. So she gonna be coming home soon.
Nigga, that's not soon. She still got 8 years.
I mean,
time.
yeah, I get, but I mean, it's only 8 years. And remember, I mean, she can get what they call that? What they gave Red on Shawshank Redemption. When they remember they let you go early? Parole.
Early release. Oh, parole. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, remember Shawshank Redemption? They were like, and they were talking to Red. Just don't worry about it, man. I'm old. You don't worry
I say,
about
because
it.
my law degree came from Law and Order SVU, so
I know, man.
that was a little bit after, I think.
Dun, 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 dun,
That was my show, and only the SVU version, not the regular version. I never watched it.
The FBO, that's the sexual victim unit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Is that the one with Ice-T?
Crimes were especially heinous.
Is that the one with Ice-T and he only had like 2 words every episode?
Don't do him. Don't do my daddy's twin. Yes.
Yeah, you guilty.
As the show went on, they gave him more airtime because
No, they gave him more airtime when they made him cut his hair. Once he cut his hair, that's when they gave him more airtime. When he had a ponytail, man, he had 2 sentences per episode. Yeah, so when he cut his ponytail, that's when he got more. They gave him like 3 sentences. You know what I'm saying?
No, but then when Stabler left, he got a lot more time. But then Stabler came back. But anyway, continue on. I was just telling y'all where I got my law degree from.
I got you. So since her sentencing, she has exhausted all of her appeals. So she done for it. She filed in 2014, 16, and 2020. Also in 2020, she filed a civil suit of habeas corpus against the Florida Department of Corrections, which means the defendant is asking the judge for a hearing to determine whether your imprisonment is lawful. So I guess she's saying that they gave her too many years. How? I mean, you kill somebody in cold blood. I mean,
we don't know if it was in cold blood.
I mean, yeah, granted, you're right. We don't know, but the only thing that makes her look guilty, number one, is he was shot in his neck and he was shot in the back, which makes it look like he was retreating. And the fact that you did not,
you can do something to me and then be walking away. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but then the fact that she did not call in time to say they was killed, the fact that she lied and hid evidence, it's just she.
I mean, yeah, it do look a little bit bad. It do.
And I mean, could we? And then she didn't have any marks on her or any abuse, which doesn't mean
That don't mean
anything.
nothing. That just mean that he ain't
No,
hit her that day.
I
Okay,
know, or hit
that
her that
day.
hard. Know what I'm saying? Or
Right,
hit her
that
that
too.
hard.
Or
So
maybe she's one of the people that don't bruise easily.
I mean,
You
that's
know,
true.
you
That I
never.
mean,
I
I
mean, just
get you.
because you didn't see it does not. She could have not bruised easily. You don't know.
That's true. And that's a possibility, right? She could not bruise easy,
Mhm.
or she killed him because she found condoms in the car,
Or she was tired of that nigga beating her ass, and she was like, "Nigga, I'm tired. I am tired. I am sick and fucking tired." That's that, and she snapped.
or she was tired of that nigga cheating. I'm just saying, like real talk. But you know what, though? Go ahead, continue because she actually started an MA blog, right?
Yes, she did. In 2020, she started Inmate Blog, and that gives us a lot more insight into her relationship with Solomon and into the things that she did. So we're gonna go over a couple of them. So bear with us. It's a lot of information, but I felt like this would give us a lot more insight into what
Yeah,
happened, at
and so
least from her perspective.
perspective. So it's a lot, and it definitely is a lot. And originally, I was kind of against, like maybe we shouldn't put this in, but once I read it, I was like, yeah, we have to put this in because it really gives you the sense of where she was at mentally and emotionally. Before and during her marriage, before she got married and during her marriage. So you go ahead and start with entry one.
Okay. She said, so, and this is all a direct quote. So let me be clear and let you know I did not just wake up one day and find myself in an abusive relationship. While abuse is no respecter of persons, certain types of people are more susceptible to it. It doesn't matter what your age is, your race, your educational background, or even your gender. Yes, men are victims of domestic violence too. Shy Jackson. The criteria is not something always easily recognizable by the human eye. It is something in you, or rather, something lacking in you. All that matters is that you are broken in some way. This is what lays the foundation to the answer to the often asked question, why did you stay? I stayed because I was broken. So if being broken was all it took, then I qualified tenfold. See, my brokenness began very early in life. It started with me having an older brother who was broken. So in turn, he made it his mission to break me as well. The source of his brokenness remains a mystery to me because we had a pretty normal childhood. Maybe it was a chemical imbalance or an undetected mental instability. Whatever the case, he physically and sexually abused me for about 2 years until I guess he couldn't take life anymore and hung himself at the age of 11. I was 9 at the time of his death. That was the first fissure that would open the door for others to ultimately shatter my life. My mother didn't know how to cope with the loss of her child, or maybe it was a survival of other ones. Either way, she changed that day and became abusive and distant towards me. I will not go into details because I love and respect her, and those wrongs are hers to bear, and I have come to terms with them. Nonetheless, her lack of affection or attention was another fissure. Add to that my father was practically non-existent in my life. He could have only be counted on to come around when it was convenient for him. He was and still is a very shrewd when it comes to picking up and starting over. To hell with who gets left behind. I have no love or respect for him, but still will not go into details because he just isn't worth the energy. This is another facet of my life I have learned to come to grips with. But it was also another fissure. Take a moment and imagine a beautiful vase sitting on a pedestal. Now imagine that it gets bumped off the pedestal, and every time it hits the floor, it gets a nick or dent. That's what these fissures were for me. By the time I was a teenager, I had no sense of self worth or self esteem. I felt ugly and unlovable, and any attention felt good because I wasn't getting any from the people who should have been giving it to me. Every opportunity I had in life, I messed it up. I don't know if I was subconsciously self sabotaging or if I was simply incapable of making good decisions because everything I touched turned to rust, not gold. I have had countless great opportunities in my life, and at the crucial moments, I always seemed to make the wrong decisions. I had a horrible habit of lying. I hated who I was and wanted to be anyone but me. I
Who did
once
that
had
sound like? Who did that sound like?
We ain't gonna talk about the one who shall not be named.
I'm just saying though, but
But you
that's
already know,
seriously.
like you name her and she popping off the woodwork. I
Exactly,
don't.
man. She like Beetlejuice, like real talk. Like you
Real
say,
talk. So
yeah,
we just gonna call her
yeah,
the woman who shall not be named.
yes. But go ahead.
Um.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just sound listening to this like. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. We will talk. Go ahead.
Okay. So she said, I hated who I was and wanted to be anyone but me. I wanted to have perfect parents, and so that's what I created. I told these lies so much that I started to believe them, and they brought me comfort. My father is a very important military man away on duty, or he would be here for my graduation from boot camp. My mother and I are very close and can talk about anything. See, I was creating what I subconsciously knew or felt like I was missing, but was too afraid to speak on it. To an outsider, I was just fucked up, but really, I was a scared and lonely little girl looking for love. By the age of 16, I pretty much figured out that I was on my own. I finished high school early, not because of my intelligence, but because I got kicked out of school after school, the best in Jacksonville, Assumption Catholic School, Douglas Anderson, and Stanton College Preparatory. I ended up going to a community college and completing 2 years of high school in just 6 months. Then it was off to the Air Force for me, but they didn't take too kindly to my fantasy family, and I was soon discharged with a less than honorable discharge. Not dishonorable, but nothing to be proud of either. My dad, when I say dad, I am in no way referring to the man who supplied DNA for my existence, but my mother's husband, who has been the best parent I have had. No offense, mom, if you're reading this. Pulled some strings and got me admitted into Bethune-Cookman. I made straight A's mostly, and that made the dean's list every year. They even selected me to recruit high schoolers. I would travel to high schools in the state and tell eager students how wonderful college was and why they should attend Bethune. Things are going well, right? Wrong. Once again, I made a bad decision and ended up in trouble with the law and having to leave school. I transferred to UNF and was trying to make a life for myself. By this time, I had a child that I was raising on my own. Her father couldn't be bothered to assist me in her time or finances. I was lost and lonely and doing the best I could with what little I had. I was broken and oftentimes I felt defeated. I wanted to give up so many times and I came close a couple of times too. This was the perfect breeding ground for a predator to come in and wreak havoc on my life. That's when I met my husband.
Mm.
So
So right
this
there, that's. But I'm telling you again. I don't know everything about relationship, but man, when you are a broken person, it seems like you always seem to attract other they call it
the law of attraction.
the law of attraction, but it was another name. I forgot. I gotta remember. It was another name for it. But yeah, you tend to always find somebody. And look, men, I'm telling you, we know the women with that you can easily, especially the one with daddy issues. Like you can see it off GP. That like you can really see. And I mean, it's sad. And you got men that prey on that, and women, and and unfortunately, women always tend to get the man that their father was, even though they don't even mess with their father. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's very much true. I say it's really is like the law of attraction is so real because like you know what am I to say, by our mentor, he always says like whatever's going on the outside is a reflection of what's going on inside, and you're gonna
Yes.
attract whatever is going on. So that daddy issue you have, you're gonna attract that back into your life. And until you correct those issues, you're gonna continue that same cycle over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I can
He knew it,
testify to that
and trust
myself.
me, in Solomon, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, he knew what he was doing by giving her that $300. Like I could take care of you and your kids, and she like I ain't had no daddy. My kid ain't got no daddy. Oh nigga, come on. She knew exactly what he knew exactly what he was doing. Know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Yep.
he definitely did. So, and then another thing that stood out to me was how she said, and this kind of goes back when she said that she lied to the police because it was due to the abuse. But here she says, "Look, I'm a pathological. I mean, I lie."
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is something that kind of like really tips the scales for me because like I find it really hard to it pulls you either way because on one like so it's like so what you know how I feel about liars. If you lie, you cheat, you steal. And when you start lying, I feel like if you lie about one thing, you lie about everything. So I don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah. I got you. I mean, at the end, let's be honest with you. I mean, she had dealt with so much trauma, and like you can only imagine how much stuff that she probably didn't, based off of the journal entries, she probably put a lot of stuff in the back of her head. A lot of times people put up that facade in their front. So they lie to make things seem a different way. And you just become so accustomed to that. I mean, shit, back in the day, I mean, let's be real. I
The
used to
one
lie
who
all the
shall
time.
not. Oh,
I,
I
but
thought you come back for talking about the
Ah,
one
no,
who
I ain't gonna
shall
talk
not
about
be
that. But no,
named.
yeah, I used to be lying about, yeah, but I never initiated a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like I would lie and be like, no, I wasn't with her when I would, so, because I would lie, so I wouldn't get my, what I'm saying, because I didn't want to get caught up.
So that's
You know what I'm
supposed to make
saying?
it better because you didn't initiate the lie.
But I think people initiate lies is worse. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think people that just initiate lies just out of nowhere, you know who I'm getting at, where they
Yeah.
just initiate, where they just come out with a lie for no reason. You just be looking like, nigga, come. Yeah, that's to me, that's worse than a person that may be lying. Like I'm lying because I want to spare your feelings, or I'm lying because I don't want to hurt you with the truth, because that was my line. Like, no, I ain't about to tell you, like, nah, yeah, I've been cheating, you know what I'm saying? But then I'm not going to come out let me stop because
Okay, Jody.
yes, I don't want to put no, you said Jody.
So he's like
we,
Yvette, I
we
don't
having
lie to you
tacos,
because
we having tacos tonight.
I be telling these hoes the truth. Like I lie to you because
Oh,
I love you. Like what?
no,
No,
but
no.
that's why I always say, like, that's why I don't prefer I prefer respect over love, because he said it. I lie to you because I love you. Love will get you hurt. It will get you cheated on. A nigga would love you and beat your ass every day. A female will love you and cheat on you. But respect, yeah, that's what he said. He said when we were kids, we longed for oh no, hold on. When we were kids, we uh for acceptance. No, when we were kids, we longed for acceptance, but getting respect, that felt even better. Respect is means more to me. Is more important than love. That's just my opinion. That just throwing it out there.
No, and that's another thing that speaks to men and women in our, we've had that discussion many times about how you feel like we at women, we feel like love, respect, trust, loyalty, all is under one umbrella, but to y'all it's a totally different thing.
No, it is. It is. It's not under one umbrella. It is literally a different thing. Respect is more important. Women always speak about love and love. Yes, it's about respect, because again, like I said, you can love somebody and don't respect them. I'm
That
sorry, and that's the truth. You can
no,
love a
it's the
person.
truth. The more I see it,
Yeah.
it is very much the truth. So back to um Miss Noni over here. So she said, little did I know that this was just the beginning of him systematically manipulating me in order to control me. So this is after they met. She said, as our relationship progressed, he would become more and more vocal about how I should dress, who I should hang with, where I should go, etc. He would tell me that I didn't need my family, that they were obviously didn't care about me because they weren't helping me. He would tell me that he was my family and all I needed was him. Sounds like a typical abuser. And I believed every word of it. See, I never had a man tell me that he loved me or took care of me or show me any type of positive intention with seemingly expecting nothing in return. All they ever did was take whatever I had to offer, my love, my kindness, my money, my self-esteem, my body, my pride, you get the picture, and offered nothing in return. So how could I not fall for this man who seemed to be an answer to my prayers? I didn't have to work anymore and could focus on school because he paid my bills. My daughter finally had a father figure. He treated her like his own child. Better yet, he treated her better than his own child, because I later found out that he had a daughter that he was not there for financially, emotionally, or physically. I thought life was great until a few days after Christmas when he hit me for the first time. This was not our first fight. We had
Merry
argued.
Christmas, bitch. Sorry.
Huh?
I said Merry Christmas, bitch.
Oh, you're so aggravating. I thought life was great for till a few days later after Christmas when he hit me for the first time. This was not our first fight. We had argued before where he would push or shove me around, but never had he raised his hand at me. I remember being in total shock. He quickly apologized and promised to never do it again. I wanted to believe him. I had to believe him. And so I forgave him and moved on. Thus, a cycle had begun. He would be so great until he wasn't. I would do everything how he liked it until he found the flaw and exploited it. He would rant and tell me I was stupid. The high school dropout would tell the college grad that she was stupid. And obviously, I was, because I believed it. I believed him when he told me I was ugly and when he told me I was unlovable and lucky that he took pity on me. So why wouldn't I believe him when he told me he wouldn't hurt me again or cheat again or any of the million other promises he made and then broke? Even after I graduated and was accepted into graduate school and had a job offer starting at $150,000 a year, I still felt like I needed him. See, by this time, I had become so isolated from my friends and family, I had no voice of reason or sanity to help pull me out of his clutches. He broke me down to nothing, and that's what I felt like, nothing. The abuse and infidelity was all my fault. I made him do it. Thinking back, if I had a strong male presence in my life, I may have been able to recognize this for the bullshit it was. But being that I had absolutely zero positive examples of what love was, I fell for the fraud. So, of course, when he asked me to marry him, I felt like he was doing me a favor and quickly said yes. I took no heed to the fact that he had beaten me black and blue and kicked my front door off the hinges just a few months earlier. I quickly forgot that I had found out that he lied to me and my family about his name for over a year. How hear you lied to my. Never mind.
Hold on. Wait. Well.
Never mind.
Oh shit, that is hilarious, man. Oh look, we can, you know me, I put all my business out there like
Go
that.
ahead, tell the story because that was hilarious.
Man,
Okay,
so
so
I
wait, let me finish this real quick and then you gotta
all
tell the
right, go ahead.
story. Oh my
All right.
gosh. So the only way I discovered the truth was because his license fell out of his pants pocket one day when I was cleaning up while he was asleep. All was forgiven and we were to be married. My mother begged me not to, but what did she know? She didn't care about me, remember? No one did. And I had all the answers. I was going to marry this man and we were going to live happily ever after. Go ahead and tell your story
Oh
because
my
that
god,
I
this
almost
is
fell out
funny.
behind that one.
Yeah, so this is okay, yeah. So met I was working, went in the store, and I walked past two girls, right? One was fine, the other one was okay. I don't pay no attention. Go in the store, get out, I see, and I drive home. The very next morning, there's a letter, a number on my window that I don't know how I didn't see it. But anyway, I see it, the person, hey, I think you fine, give me a call. So we started talking or whatever the case may be. We're talking for a couple months or whatever the case may be, right? And look, this is a great part. I don't know what happened between us. Like we was cool and everything like that, but she was weird. She was really weird. So I just called it off. You know what I'm saying? By the way, I told her my name was Christian. I didn't give her my real name. So I use my son named Christian. Man, how long ago was that? Jeez.
That was
And
about
I'm yeah, I'm not making
no, that
this
was
up.
like
Like,
that was like 4 years
yeah,
ago.
4 years ago, and Tiffany can vouch. We just stopped talking to the day. I don't know what happened. I don't know how. I don't know why. We just stopped talking over the phone. Every day for the last 3 years, she texts me every single day. Am I lying? Am I
No,
lying?
she does. She
No,
does.
every to the point where I'm like, and then I actually told like, man, stop texting me or whatever the case may be. I even had a chick,
But
this
the
girl I was
thing
talking to at the
was, wait, you gotta back up because you didn't tell him how like I had saw your name and she was like, but
oh,
Christian, why are you doing this to me? And I was like, who is she talking to?
oh yeah, I did because I didn't tell you. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, oh yeah, I did tell her my name was Christian. Now listen, and I'm being honest, it was no situation where I played her. I I led her on. No, we just stopped talking. That's it. And
And
she
she
just
is
tests.
big mad at you. She's like,
Yes.
Christian, you just broke my heart and I don't know how I'm supposed to live. And I'm just like,
Yes,
and
and we're
you
talking about for 3 years. Even if I'm not mistaken, it was like almost so what was that a week ago? Remember? Was that a
yeah,
week
she
ago?
texted you a week
Out of
ago. And
nowhere. Talk about I forgive you now. Bitch, it's been four
but
years. What is going
but the
on
week
here?
before that, just fuck you. I can't believe you would do this to me. Like,
Yes.
girl.
Oh my gosh, I'm going, you know what? I'm gonna post so do I don't have the
No, don't
messages.
post those. Don't
I
do
don't.
that.
All right, don't
Don't do that.
you
The
know me,
child
I'll
already
put it.
unhinged. Shoot, I don't
Yes,
know what that child is
I'll put it out there.
unhinged.
Yeah, I'll put it out there. All right. Well, so that's it. So I say all that to say I did say my name was Christian. So again, all right. So are we doing that? We you getting finished?
uh,
Okay. So again, I'm about to actually do a little, because you've been doing on the reading. So let me go ahead and read this part. Let me get my voice together. So against all sane judgment, and despite the warning signs, I married Solomon. And that's another thing. Like, damn, all these red signs, this nigga lied to you. Now she still think my name Christian. She don't know, so I'm good with that. But you found out that this dude lied about his name, like for a year. You calling him the wrong? I bet you been times he didn't probably even answer. He's like, "Oh yeah, me. Oh, you talking to me? I'm sorry about that, baby." What? Okay, so she said I married him. It didn't take long for the honeymoon to end. Within a few weeks, he was hitting me and slapping me around. It didn't take much to trigger his wrath. Oh, I forgot to mention that Solomon was alcoholic. He would consume liquor from time he got up around 1 p.m. until he strolled back in the house in the wee hours in the morning. And she put up with that shit. If you
But
notice,
I
she
mean,
never
she
said anything
said,
about her working. No, I mean,
yes,
yeah, he was
she
taking
did. She
care of
said
her.
she didn't have to because he took care of everything.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's the purpose I'm making is yes, he was taking care of her. She wasn't gonna leave. I mean, she left. She had nothing to fall back on. He had the money.
But she did have. She said she had job that was paying her 6 figures. But again, he was in her mental. And when you already know when somebody can control you mentally, baby, they can do whatever the heck they want to you.
And she was a habitual liar. So anyway, I would be
He
belittled for
was
decisions.
too. They was just two little liars.
Two
That
little
sounds
liars.
familiar.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds familiar. Two little liars.
Jeez, man. We're gonna put all my business out there. I made regarding the household. I would be slapped for clothes that I wore, even if they were clothes that wait, did you read that already?
No, it's
Oh,
on.
I would be downright beaten for not answering my phone quick enough or for being in the wrong place when he called. I never knew what would trigger his wrath because his tastes and wants would change from day to day. One day he wanted to eat out, and the next he would complain that he didn't have a home cooked meal. One day he wanted me to dress feminine. The next he would say it's too sexy. The beating would vary from simple slapping and shoving to sometimes a closed fist in the face. This
Okay,
nigga
so hold
was
on. Let me stop you right
demonic.
there.
Yeah.
You know, I got my psychology degree from, and medical degree from House. Okay. So it
Hmm.
sounds to me like this nigga is bipolar. Like he really does have the symptoms in addition to the alcohol abuse. It sounds like he might be bipolar.
That's a possibility, though. He just like to be bitches. So the one constant thing that was, and she allow it. I mean, it's a controlling thing. I don't. Sometimes it's not just that. It could be narcissist. It's a control method. You know what I'm saying? He control her by fear. You know what I'm saying? By fear, switching up. You know what I'm saying? Things to be good, get her all happy. Then he to come crashing down. That's all. That's controlling. That's manipulation. That's all it is. So the one constant thing that he would always apologize his promises, never do it again. Remember, don't trust apologies, trust patterns. That was the
Yes.
only constant in our life. He promised to change. In the meantime, I got very crafty and hiding the bruises, making excuses and justifying the behavior. And so many people do that. I don't know how many
Mhm.
people I was actually fooling, but in my mind, I feel like I had it under control. That is until he punched me in the face while I was holding our 9-month-old son. See, it was one thing for me to take the abuse, but when it came that close to one of our children, I knew I had to leave. I may not have had much respect for myself or felt much self worth, but I never thought of my children as anything less than everything. I knew I had to protect them, and I no longer felt able to do that and stay with him. So while he was in jail, okay, so that's right. She ended up probably hold on, she probably
When
ended
she
up
called, called them for the domestic violence disputes.
yeah, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Oh, good grief. Hold on. I'm having technical issues. You gotta continue.
Okay, so I knew I had to protect them, and I no longer felt able to do that and stay with him. So while he was in jail, I packed up all his clothes and personal items and took them to his mother's house. I told her that upon his release, I did not want him to return to our home. Believe it or not, he didn't. I allowed myself to be lured into a false sense of security. I opened a new business. I bought a new car and a home. I think that was at the Organizer Inc. is the business that she opened.
Yeah.
I even started dating someone. I was finally living a normal life, free of insults and beatings, but my husband was always on the fringe of that life. He would call and request my help with this or that, or ask to see the kids and any little thing to be involved in some way or another. He even harassed the guy I was dating. Now, who that sound like?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Girl.
Mm, mm, mm.
Gee, I don't. That's okay. It's like women will leave a situation, and I'm a firm believer that God will never bless you because a lot of times people hinder their blessings by staying in situations too long or, being with people they don't need to be with. So it's obvious that the minute you left him, you start got your own business, you got your own car, everything. What is it that makes them decide, let me go back? You know what I'm saying? Knowing that I just came from all this BS. Now that I left, I am doing better than what I was doing. What will make you want to go back? That's just a crazy. And that's just me. Like
I
that's
think
just me.
it's a just a comfort thing, a familiarity thing. Um, because sometimes it's just easier to deal with the bullshit you know than the bullshit you don't. When somebody is telling you that you're nothing without me, like it takes a long time to undo that way of thinking. So I mean, it's really a comfort thing. I mean, 'cause I think as a woman, we've all done it. Like I know I have. Like the nigga cheated on you, or um, that last one. He as soon as I moved on and he found out, let's get married and this, that, and the third, and then I was like, I'm good. That was when he
Yeah.
started harassing, and I'm like, why? I was like, first of all, why are you digging into my life? You don't know this man. He has nothing to do with you. I wasn't cheating with this man. Like, let me live my life. But I don't.
Yeah,
But
that's horrible. Man.
I
No, I
mean,
get it. I don't know. That's just weird to me because and a lot of people.
I don't know.
Um,
I feel like they feel like they've lost control of the situation. So, as a person who is a control freak, they want to keep that control, and they're gonna try and get it back, no matter what it takes to get that back. Like they love to have that control. So when they see you're like not get with the program anymore, they like
yeah, they try to jump
no,
in. So
and they're gonna try and get you back.
yeah, so he played it cool though. Never pushed me to reunite. He was always pleasant and kind in our dealings. He even told me he took anger management classes. A year and a half passes. I mean, that's a long time. Like after a year and a half, like for me, it's done with because even like when me and my ex when we separated, once I hit that 3-4, like that year mark, it was. I mean, it was officially. You know what I'm saying? It was officially like I'm done with it. Year and a half. That's when the emotions are completely removed. But I'm a man. It's different. I don't
No,
know.
it's not different because I had my little stint with that last one that one time, and I was like, after we broke up, it had been like a year and a half later. But the thing was, I didn't have any emotions toward him. I was like, for real, I was like, I barely like you. But again, how did he get me? You want to
Food.
go? You want to get
A
go get
damn
some
food, man.
tacos?
So
And I
after
was
you want to
sitting
get
there
some time,
like,
you're like, oh well, I guess let's go, and that's
he was
all it
like,
took.
and we could even get some margaritas. I was like, sold. But I mean, I didn't.
Yeah.
But really, I didn't have any feelings. I remember telling him like, don't get attached.
I
I don't
remember
have
you.
any
Yeah, you
feelings.
told yes, and he
Yeah,
was
I was
like,
like,
well,
don't get attached to me. I don't have feelings, like, and I have no desire to get back with you. And he was just like, he ignored everything I said, and then he called
he got
through,
his
and then
low
he got
feelings
mad because
hurt.
I was just like, no,
He got his
I
low
told you I
feelings
didn't.
hurt.
No, no, there's no man ain't spoke. He still don't
So,
speak to me.
so said we're gonna pray for him. So after that, so a year and a half passed, like she said, and then one day he comes by my mother's. I mean, come by my home under the guise of wanting to see the kids. After they are put to bed, he lingers and ended up staying the night in my guest bedroom. The next day, our kids see him and are ecstatic cheering daddy's home. I could see how that can, yeah, I can see that. But I mean, I'm still like, no, no, the hell, she ain't home. She's staging for a minute. She about to leave, ain't you? Um, that
Because we
tub
know
that
you put folks out.
that shit, you was there when I did it. I don't play around. Yeah, oh, you overstaying your welcome. You need to get the hell on out. That tells that my heartstrings a little. It made it's too many familiar things in here about our lives. So that tells that my heartstrings is what she's saying, of course. It made me ponder if we could ever be happy again. A few days later, he came by again, and I told him that the kids were already asleep. He tells me that he wants to talk to me. This is when he made his pitch. He told me how miserable he was and how much he missed us and how much he loved me and how much he had changed.
Typical nigga.
Yep. Don't ask me why, but I believe every word. And after 18 months of freedom, I took him back. I had no idea that within 6 months he would be dead and I would be facing life in prison. Oh, she said, look, I went 18 months doing good and you brought me back to the same stuff. Say less, dog. Bang, bang. She killed in 6 months.
And it's just again like how in a split second your whole life can change. Like you thinking things are good, and like you said, you don't know, like that one decision just ruined,
But
like
it's
you just
really not a
lost.
split say. It's been so many things leading up to it, though. You see what I'm saying? So
I'm talking about
it's
the
so many.
split second in time where your brain made that
Oh
decision
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah. Like oh yeah,
we done.
I'm
Yeah.
about to assassinate him. All right, go ahead.
So you have to be in prison to truly understand what freedom is. You can be imprisoned by the limits of your physical body. You can be imprisoned by addiction, self-hate, greed, or any other negative behavior or attitude. This is a lesson that I have learned during this experience. I used to think that being free had to do with my physical body. I had to learn that imprisonment and freedom are mindsets. That's so true. That is why it was so easy for me not to care when I first came to prison. I had the mentality that if I was going to be locked up like an animal, I may as well act like an animal. I did everything you see in the TV shows. Ooh, I wonder if she was in there throwing her poop at people. With the
That's
exceptions,
disgusting.
you don't never watch Lockup, man. They would
No,
be in there
I don't be watching
throwing.
that show, man.
Oh man, they be in there like writing on the walls and they poop and throwing it at the guards. I could never work in a prison.
No, the last I watched it when the booty word was on there. After that, I ain't watching no more. You remember him? The
No.
one like I like booty. Y'all remember him? Oh my goodness, I
Mm-mm.
gotta go ahead.
She said, I did everything you see on TV shows with the exception of exceptions being drugs and cigarettes. But everything else I did. So I guess she was in there slinging poop. I didn't care how much I hurt myself or others. I didn't even call home most times because I couldn't stomach hearing them living life while I was stuck behind these bars.
I
I
feel
felt
that.
yeah, I felt trapped and I behaved like any trapped animal would. I came out with my claws extended. I fought against every good thing that I had going for me. It took a while, but one day I had an epiphany. I realized that I was only as trapped as I let my mind believe I was. I had to pray and dig deep, but eventually I started being able to take inventory and being able to see all of the possibilities I still had before me. I started small, but over time, I was able to change my thinking, which in turn changed my behavior. I started fighting to get out and fighting others as well. I started programs to help the ladies in here better themselves. I had a purpose, and one day I woke up and I no longer felt trapped. I had hope and I finally felt free. Have you ever wanted something so bad only to get it and find out that it wasn't what you really needed or wanted? That's how I felt after the days of my husband's death. First off, it didn't seem real. I was in a fog for days. When I went to the morgue to identify him, I didn't see his actual body, so it wasn't real to me until I saw him at the funeral home. I broke down then, and all of these emotions that I was holding in came pouring out. My family didn't understand how I could cry for him, how I could pay for his final expenses, how I could mourn his absence. They didn't understand that despite it all, I loved him. Sometimes I don't understand how I could love someone who treated me the way he did. I guess it's possible because it wasn't all bad. We had a lot of good memories, and he wasn't a monster 24/7. That is what made it so hard for me because he could be so kind and sensitive and funny, and then flip a switch, he was someone else. It was a roller coaster ride. Now, while I'm dealing with putting him to rest, I also have to deal with my impending arrest. I knew I only had a few days before they figured out my involvement. I was just buying some time so I could get my children situated and my affairs in order. In
Oh, I know that
hindsight,
is tough. Oh,
yeah. In hindsight, I often wonder if I should have been honest with the police in the beginning. Would they have believed me? Would it have made a difference? I don't have the answer to those questions. I just know that the time I was so used to lying about and covering up what was often obvious that came natural. No, he didn't give me this black eye. I ran into the door. No, I'm not unhappy. Everything is great, etc. I still felt a deep sense of obligation to him and the need to protect him in his ways. I didn't realize that I was free until I got locked up. How ironic, huh? My new reality was a blessing and a curse. Sitting behind these walls, I was able to find real freedom. I was able to learn to love myself, to accept myself, and to not attribute other people's character flaws as my fault. It hasn't been easy to reach this place to be able to talk about my past, but I know that there is a story in my tears and my pain. That's deep.
man, yeah. First of all, that sound like those hood novels you used to read. That really do.
Used to read, sir. What you talking about? I'm reading one right now.
Did you still be reading the hood novels?
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh
That
yeah,
is my
what's the one?
guilty
Yeah, what's the one
pleasure.
you used to read? And you said they had the fictional characters, Nas and
Oh, you talk about the Underworld series. That's Nako. Her books
yeah,
is
Neko.
bomb.
Yeah, Neko. Okay. So Noni's daughter, Nyla, has started a change.org petition for a pardon for Noni's release since she has exhausted all her avenues. So if you know if this
Touched your heart.
touched your heart and you would like to sign that, you definitely can, and try to get her out before her release, which is 2032. Um, Also, if you are a victim of domestic violence and you need assistance, you can please call 911 first or 1-800-799-7233. Because like Michael Jackson said, you are not alone.
I know you was gonna do something. I can't stand you. I really cannot.
Oh
So
man, yes.
okay, so we're just gonna go over. We're going. I'm not dealing with you no more today. I'm so done. So we're gonna move over to Love, Lies, and Alibis. And don't forget, we are still looking for
I think
a.
we found it. I ain't gonna lie. People better do it because I think we found it. I ain't gonna say who did it, but somebody they did one that I'm not gonna lie, you really can't deny. I just gotta figure out how we're gonna freak it. You know what I'm saying? But it's still something out. Hey, you still got time. Remember, $50 gift card, and you can get a Melanin Mystery shirt sent to you. You give us the size, we pay for shipping, everything. Just give us your location. All right.
So Love, Lies, and Alibis. So today we're gonna go briefly over domestic violence in the Black community and statistics. So unfortunately, in the Black community, we are of course the majority, and it's mostly Black women. They say 40% of Black women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime, compared to approximately 31% of all women. And they said that the reason why it goes so unreported in the Black community is because, of course, we have that mistrust of law enforcement. Like she said, this was supposed to be a system that protected her, and to a certain extent, they still ended up failing her.
Mhm.
Black women are reluctant to report domestic violence due to fears of being not believed, criminalized, or facing police brutality. Makes sense. This fear extends to protecting their abusers from potentially lethal encounters with law enforcement. I mean, that makes sense. Shoot, I'm scared to get pulled over. I mean, so yeah, you may want him to be away from you, but you don't necessarily want him to be killed for
Exactly.
something stupid.
True.
So let's say we do suggest, if you need help, the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Again, the number is 800-799-7233.
Yeah, if you are a man and you're being abused by your significant other, first of all, don't tell your friends, don't, because they're gonna laugh at you. I know I would laugh at you, but reach
And
out to
that's why ain't nobody gonna tell
the
you nothing, because domestic
domestic
violence is
violence.
real in for men too. It is women out here just because. Shut up.
So what? So what? How am I supposed? So let me ask you, God, why I'm doing it, but I don't care. So man, like, so what? The domestic violence. What about when the same sex? Because you know what I'm saying. So what if my daughter comes to me talking about her girlfriend hit her? Like, what do I do in a situation like that?
The same as you would tell anybody else. It don't matter who's abusing. You need to figure out an exit plan. And the thing about exit plans in a domestic violence is it's so dangerous because
Oh, what
you don't.
happens? You got two sons, a son. Hey, let
Again,
me
it is
stop.
the same thing. Nobody deserves to
Like,
be
daddy, he hit
abused.
me. Like, nigga hit him back. Okay.
So we are going. I'm not. I'm
I
not.
just yeah, I just gotta look. So I gotta yeah, I'm done. Okay, so go ahead. Let them know how they can I appreciate everybody listening. Feel free to leave your
Y'all
comments.
ain't
We like
canceled us yet because he
yeah.
crazy as hell.
Feel free to leave comments, constructive criticism. Just send it to us and let us know what you think of the show. We have been getting a few comments, which have been very positive, and we thank you for that.
No, they
But
ain't been positive. They been good as hell. Don't even hold you. Like they been good as
oh,
hell.
I
They
was
said
just trying
they
to
said you funny. We been getting all type of nice stuff going on. I
well,
like you here.
I was trying to be humble, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, the shit was nice. Just shit was nice. But go ahead, let them know how they can reach us.
So we are on TikTok and Instagram as Melanin Mysteries Pod, and we are on Facebook as Melanin Mysteries Podcast. Feel free to leave us a review on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, YouTube Music, wherever you listen. We would greatly appreciate it. But like you said, if you have a grievance or a concern or some constructive criticism, feel free to send it to us. Directly. We're on social media. I check it. He checks it. We are
We
I said we
interact. We interact. We will interact.
Yes, and I say we don't get mad about construction. Just be respectful when you say it. Don't come popping off because he will pop off back. I'm more of the
Yeah,
calm one. He'll pop off back and say something ignorant. You see, he don't care about what he say.
I know. I got to work on that. All right. Well, go ahead. Carry us out.
So just remember that love should not come with a life sentence.
Mm-mm.
Choose freedom and not felonies.
Not felonies. We appreciate it. Talk to you later.